Hello everyone, welcome back to the Big Bad Bench. I think we are streaming. I think we're here. There we are. Yep. Okay, cool. Hello. Thanks for joining me today. Um, let's just go right to the Big Bad Bench while I say hi to folks in the chat. Look at all this mess we have going on here, and this is not even the beginning of the mess. And you might hear that whine. That is actually this hard drive is currently going right now. So let's say hi to folks in the chat. We got Eric Helgeson. We got Jack68K. Everything is Broken Garage. Trina's Technobabble. Mac84. Sam Johnson. First time here. Hello. Thanks for stopping by my table at VCF Midwest. Welcome. Gut Bomb is here. Bill Goetz is here. Hello. Okay, I think I said hi to everyone in the chat. If I missed you, say hi again. I apologize. Trina just asked, how's my puppy? She's doing okay. She's not real happy. So we got to get this done as quickly as possible because I got to go take care of her. But she had a tooth out yesterday, and she's recovering, but she's not real happy. So anyway, these are all big Chungus drives. Actually, these three are all the same. So these are ST501 drives, Seagate drives. These are half height 5 1/4 drives. This is a Priam full height 5 1/2 or 5 1/4 drive. These are each 50 megs, which formatted, what's that, about 45 megs-ish. This is a 44 meg drive. So you can see technology was improving rapidly in the mid-80s here. This one is a NEC D5146 drive. It's also formatted about 41 megs capacity. And so these things, and I'm calling these MFM drives. The thing you need to realize is that I'm using that as a shortcut, and there will be people on the internet that will yell at me because the real interface is called ST506/412. MFM is the encoding style, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I know it's wrong to call these MFM drives, but I'm calling them MFM drives, so bite me. Don't you have in your MFM drive in my Apple IIgs? Also, yes, I do have an MFM drive in my Apple IIgs. It is a 3.5 inch drive though, so very, very much smaller. All right, so let's talk about cables, because this is one of the big issues with this style of interface. And you can see I have a whole lot of 34-pin cables here. And you need 34-pin cables to interface with your MFM. Let's just put the parentheses around the MFM. Around your MFM drives. And so we know if we're dealing with purely a floppy cable, if it has these kinds of things, right? If our floppy cables have this and this, it's a floppy cable. So it's kind of easy to tell. But here we have another cable that only has this style, right? Oh no, this one also has this. Okay, so we can put that aside. This is only floppy. Let's throw that on the floor with the dog hair. This one, here we go. Here's one. This only has this kind except for this connector, right? So to connect to the drives, you need those big guys. So is this a floppy cable or not? Because floppy cables can be either, right? So here's a floppy cable that only has that style. But how can I tell that this is a floppy cable and this is actually an MFM cable? And if we look at where our twist location is, you can see here the twist location is ever so slightly different on the MFM. Well, technically it's on the opposite side versus the floppy. So the floppy is closer to pin 1, the MFM is closer to pin 34 here. So got to be careful about that. So don't use your floppy cables to your MFMs. Well, technically you can, as long as you're not using the flip end. If you connect your drive down here, then yeah, you can use a floppy cable. So just be really careful, because most of us, like looking at this, oh, that's an MFM connector. No, No, that, no, yeah, that's a floppy cable. That one's floppy. Okay, so, all right, so there's our first warning. The other thing is you don't get away with just your 34 pin cable. You also need this guy. So there's a 20 pin cable. So this is our control cable, and this is our data cable or whatever. So you gotta worry about your cables when you're dealing with these things. All right, so I'm sure based off of that tirade, I probably missed some stuff in the chat. So, hi, Jeff Gearling. Hello. I-0386SX. Yes, this is a full height army. Hello, Charles Bullock. Hello. My MFM drive is outside the Apple IIgs. Ian Scott. Hello. Everything is Broken Garage. Hello. Micro Hobbyist is here. Hello. MFM stands for many friggin' megabytes. No, that's not what that stands for. I forget what it stands for. It has something to do with the way the data is encoded in the drive. Whatever. I don't have all that background crammed in my brain. So that whole tirade was purely about cables. What a friggin' mess. All right, what else do we need to know? All right, let me shut this computer off. And this one is actually booted. I needed to prove that I actually had a working MFM drive before we got started. We'll start with this guy right here. The other thing you need to know is Steve's on a roll today, is that you need an interface controller. And so let's grab some interface controllers. So here's an interface controller, here's an interface controller, here's an interface controller. And let's zoom in a little bit. Can we? Oh, I forgot to do the thing. Sorry, I was running a little behind getting going today. Boop 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 boop. So what? Mostly fragile magnetism. That's a good one. I like that one. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. All right, so here's 3 interface cards. There you go. Thank you, Frederick. I know Frederick would know the right words because he's smart. The rest of us, I don't know. Might be ferromagnetic. I like that one too. Oh, geez. Y'all are something. So what do you see here? We got a 34 pin. We got a 34 pin. We got our 20 pins. We got 34 pin, 34 pin, 20 pins. We got this one. This one's also called a Winchester. I like calling a hard drive Winchester. I should call them Winchesters. So here we got a 34 pin, 34 pin, 20 pin, 20 pin. So these all look like MFM controllers. And the other thing is, if you have them that are only 8 bits, and they have these same connectors, it's likely that the drives that are formatted on that one will not work on these. That's a whole other mess. But let's stick to 16 bits. So, we're all getting a lot of work done this afternoon. Yes. Why are you all here? What is wrong? 20 people here? What is wrong with you all doing in the middle of a Thursday afternoon? Speaking of 20 people, hit that like button. Thank you so much. And yeah, I do have an 8-bit one around here. Theoretically, an 8-bit one with these interfaces would be an RLL card, but that's a topic for a whole other day. Oh, look. All right. So, can anyone tell me what the difference is between one of these 3 cards? Boop, 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 boop. Look. This is this. These 2 have chips from Western Digital on them, and if we look, they're probably no. You can. Oh yeah, here we go. WD1002-WA2. This one says WA5. It's basically assuming that it's a WD1002. The size is definitely an easy one. This guy is smaller than this guy. This guy was next to a battery bomb. So this one needs to have all of its chips taken off and repaired. So that one's not getting plugged in today. Look at that. Look at that green crusty. Look at that green crusty. Ugh. Ugh. So yeah, this one I gotta fix this. Hello, Mike Hawk. No Presto controller. No, I don't have any Presto controllers. This guy is from Ultra Store. This is also Western Digital. Most of these MFM controllers are going to have WD chips. Winchester is the classiest name for computer parts. It is so fancy. It's not a hard drive. It's a Winchester. This, even though it looks basically identical to this card, is not an MFM. This is an ESDI controller. How do you know that? You have no freaking idea. Basically, you got to look it up. Most of them, if they look like this, they're gonna be MFM controllers. If it says WD on it anywhere, if you have WD chips, it's most likely gonna be an MFM 412-506 controller. ESDI is a whole different type of hard drive interface. So I forget what ESDI stands for. Just go ahead and just make some stuff up in the chat for what ESDI stands for. I'm sure Frederick knows. So this has the same 3420. Do not plug your MFM drives into this. It does bad. It may not actually break, but it's not good. So, and it's not like I actually accidentally did that earlier today or anything. No, you just don't do that. So that's what we got. So right now I have one functioning. I do have a 5170 that has a fully functional setup. This is, I think, the original 5170 hard drive interface, but that one's not getting plugged in today. So we're down to one controller. All right, now the next thing. Let's look at our numbering. J1, J5, J4, J3. Okay, so you might be able to say, okay, J1 is your floppy, so you plug your floppy drive in there, and then J5 is going to be our MFM interface. Okay, so we know we need both the 34 pin and the 20 pin, and then which one do we plug this in? Which one, right? So we'd think, okay, this one's an earlier number, so let's plug our first drive into the earlier number, and let's plug our second drive into the later number. No, you plug your cable in, your control cable, and then you plug your data cable in closest to that one first, and then you plug, if you have a second drive, you plug it in that. So the numbering is just wrong. J2, I don't know where J2 is. We don't have a J2. Yeah, what the heck? Give us the J2. So yeah, do this for your hard drive first, then do this. Also, as always, make sure you know where pin 1, pin 2 is. So that should always be with the red stripe going up on this card. Okay, so who else is here? Who else did I miss? Jamie's Hack Shack, hello. All right, so let's zoom back out a skosh. Sorry, that's gonna wiggle a little bit. If I turn this microphone on, let's see. Does that echo now if I leave that microphone on? I want to give you the full experience here. Get some hard drive ASMR. I gotta warn you, this one is actually a little bit scary when it powers up. There's a very loud sign, very loud pop that sounds like an exploding tantalum, but there's like a lock on this hard drive that pops. So we're gonna power this one up and And let's listen to the beautiful hard drive ASMR here. 3, 2, 1. Except for that first pop. 3, 2, 1. Okay. There you go. So there, this one is already configured. It has some sort of a power menu version 4.11 that has database management, electronic spreadsheet, word processors. Oh, what kind of word processors do we have? Wow, PFS Professional, right? Nice. We're not gonna play with that right now. We got Word Perfect, we got a checkbook application, we got a cookbook. But let's just get out of here. Confirm exit to DOS. All right, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna park this guy. You should park your old drives like this. There we go, we're parked. And now we can safely shut this off. All right. So, hey, Rudy's here, hello. Does the MFM drive like that just seek the heads when it's just connected to power? Let's do this experiment for Steve. Let's do this little experiment for Steve. Stepper motor hard drive sounds. Isn't it great? I love that. All right, so let's unplug this guy. Let's unplug all of our stuff here. Except for, oh, we'll just leave that on there. Okay. So let's see. We're going to go 3, 2, 1. There you go. So that one did a full-on seek. With that, or I mean the initialization, so it kind of guess zeroed itself out or whatever, without being attached to the controller. Okay, the other thing is you'll notice that I have this connected to the second position. Because of that twist, you can, if you set both of your hard drives to drive 1, this one will be set as drive 2, I think. I don't know. It gets confusing, and normally I just have to test it to see what works. But basically that lets you set both your drives to the same drive number, and then that'll take care of it. So here's the real reason that I wanted to do this, is because sometimes it's hard. Most of these drives are, you know, like a ST251 is such a common drive that you'll find that one out in the world. But I swear at some point that I had a motherboard that was able to auto-detect MFM drives, which is totally not supposed to be a thing. So I might be just delusional, which is totally a possibility. But who knows? Did I say hi to Rudy's Retro Intel? Hello, Rudy. Sorry if I missed saying hi to you. Let's get out of here. Quit. All right, let's park again. And let's go into the BIOS. Okay, beautiful BIOS. And so if we go into this should theoretically only work for IDE hard drives, but you might have just heard there that when I hit that, it did seek the drive, but it didn't detect it properly, so we're not gonna accept that, and it's not gonna find that. So did it change this here? The nice thing about this drive is it's a Type 37, which is super easy. You just put that in there. Okay, so this one does not have that. That's fine. That's fine. All right, let's try a different board. I'm really nuts about. Oh, I love that seek sound. What a great seek sound. I really like to park these when I can, even though we're not like moving this drive anywhere. I don't know. Okay, hello. Okay, so let's switch to a different board. I'm gonna take all of our stuff out here. And I have a feeling this is my best bet. So this is, I don't know what this board is. Oh, here it is. There's the name. Bloop. There you go. MB133340. So this is a 386 board with an AMD DX40 built in. I feel like this is the proper board that was able to do the auto detection, but we'll see. Ran when parked. Okay. Got everything plugged back in? I think we do. Man, every time it does that, I think it's a tant exploding. Hello, Eric Helgeson. Oh, I gotta address Eric Helgeson's comment at the very beginning. He said, no SCSI. We've been bugging Eric to do blue ESDI or blue MFM for forever, and he just is not. Oh, look what I forgot to do. You gotta plug in your power cables. So yeah, gotta plug in the power cable for the motherboard, or it's not gonna power up. Okay, well, let's do that again. I was wondering why we were getting nothing. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's doing stuff. We're getting Blue IDE Micro Hobbyist. That is coming out soon. Ian Scott will Ian Scott's gonna have that out soon. Oh, that's vibrating a little bit. Pico IDE is gonna be a thing, and Ian Scott just said someone released a Pico-based MFM emulator last week. Holy poo, that's awesome. Uh-oh, this is not happy. What is going on here? That has some corruption. Let's do a little reset. Look at that Orchid video BIOS. Come on, don't do a thing. Okay, here we go. Standard CMOS. Let's change this to type 37 just to make sure this drive works fine here. Get rid of our floppy. And is that getting really neat? Yeah, the desk is vibrating a little bit. Gotta give it a little spacer. Uh-oh. Looks like our BIOS is corrupted. This and this and this. That's weird. Uh-oh. Did I lose a drive? Oh. Eric Helgeson says, now Tom can stop bugging me. Come on, computer, do a thing. The SFFT 2020 shouldn't really move the drive while it's operating. Why do I feel like this is a cache issue? Let's go into the BIOS. Let's go in here, see if we can disable cache. Disable. Disable that too. What else is in here? One. We got our wait states enabled, so it should be relatively slow. Our clock is divided by 10. That seems too slow. Let's see. Let's see if that does anything. Oh, there we go. All right. That's better. Okay, so it was a cache issue. So that's a reminder that I'm going to have to go back and check this computer for play with its cache. All right, so let's try the hard disk utility. Nope. Okay, this one doesn't even have an auto detect. Okay, so that is not the right BIOS either. I don't think it would be in here. Yeah, we can user define. But there's no auto detect a hard drive in this one. We can format it. We can interleave it. Low level format. These are low level. No, we're not going to do that. So that's not the board. Okay, that's fine. Hey, it's all things DG. Hello. Oh, I love that seek sound. I just want to defrag. You might also notice that this says D drive. This is DOS 311 or 330. So you're limited in your hard drive size. So we got CDR. We have how many? There's 25 megs there. Half a meg left there. No, 5 megs left there. So D is like probably 10 megs and C is 30 megs. Okay, so that's not the right one. That's not the right drive or the right motherboard. It works. Got to go back and figure out what's wrong with the cache on that board. Okay. If you're talking about 1 meg, I understand. When you're really pushing for the number of bytes, I could understand using bytes to count the size left on things. Okay, so let's put you away. Someone remind me to figure out what's up with the cache on this board at some point. Micro hobbyist, I think you are correct. I think this is a thing that should not exist, but in my brain it does. So we gotta scratch this itch. We gotta scratch this itch just in case, because I feel like it was. I really feel like it was. So this board, what is this one? This one might be even older. So this is an earlier 386 board. I forget what the BIOS is, but I think this one might actually be like a super mega early 386 BIOS. All right. Let's try that one. Let's give it a speaker just in case it decides to give us some beeps. Whoa! That was a tant. Oh, and of course it was off stream. Oof. Oofa. That was gone. That one's toast. I didn't think we were going to do any soldering today. Oof. Snoop Dogg visit. Wow. And I didn't plug it in wrong. Look. Black and black. If you do that with reds in the middle, it'll do that to your tants. Wow. Bang. All right. That was some excitement that I wasn't planning on having today. Let's desolder that guy and see if the next one explodes. Look at that carnage. Oof. I think Steve jinxed me. I think he said something along those lines before the stream about explosions. So what we're gonna do is I gotta put a little fresh solder on him. We'll give this one more chance. Oh, I see here that one of these has already been replaced. So that one used to be a tant. Well, that was fun. And here we were just thinking we were going to have a boring stream about Winchesters. We'll leave you off for now. I like when we get explosions that aren't my fault. I think the drive that was in my 5170 caught fire the first time we plugged that in. But that works. That one's still good. Send it. Let's send it again. Let's get all these, make sure all of our tants are in view here. Don't want you all missing out on the fun. Ooh, sorry. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. She's dead, Jim. Oh. It could be that the CMOS battery's gone. I think this board is flaky without its CMOS battery. Let's see. Yeah, we got no activity on our postcode reader. Let's see if this thing ate through its battery. Nope, that battery's fine. Okay. Doesn't look like I don't think it welded it short to itself. Came out of reset. It's trying to do a thing. Okay, well, oh, did that screen just kick on? There we go. Okay, so even though our postcode reader is not doing a thing, alright, what do we got on this one? No hard disk installed. Review. 37. Like this. Make sure everything boots. Yep, so that's good. Yeah, this one only has that. Okay, so this one does not have the autodetect either. Okay. Alright, well. Let's try a more different board. Yeah, before we finish, I'll power up some of these other drives so that you can compare the beautiful hard drive ASMR depending on the hard drive. Okay, what is our next victim gonna be here? So we got, this is an Asus ISA 486 board. This was a pretty early 486 board. And you might notice me skipping the first few. Some of these had battery issues, although I guess this one wouldn't because it had a whatchamadoodle, a Dallas. Okay. Black in the middle. This board is also chock full of tant, so there's also a good chance this one could go up. You'd never know. Man, that smell is still kind of lingering. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, this is another board where we don't have anything happening on the postcode reader, but it's posting. Go back the other way. That'll be a little faster. 37. Okay. And we will preemptively shut off our cache just in case this one's also weird. Let's wait. Board doesn't sound like it's sending. Oh, we got a controller failing. Alright, let's shut that off. Hello. Yeah, luckily today's not cap juice smell. We have tant explosion smell. So there's that. Let's try a different slot. There we go. Just a wonky thing. Alright, let's go into this BIOS. Hard disk utility. And we only have format interleave. So yeah, that's not gonna work either. That one doesn't have an auto do it. Alright, so let's shut that off. It's a table shaker. Alright, so let's shut this one off and let's try the last one that I think it could potentially be. This is the newest one out of the ones that we've tested. And if this one doesn't work, then I was totally delusional and you can all make fun of me. As I expect you probably do anyway. And as you should. Okay, so this one is a later 486 with a VLB slots. So let's see. This one definitely had battery damage that I've repaired. So let's skip that. Get in there. Okay, there's that. We need a video. This one better do some stuff. Oh, I wonder, is it possible that Glowin took out my postcode reader? That would suck. All right. 3, 2, 1. Nope, postcode reader's working. Okay, standard. Let's go to this. 37. Okay, right. There we go. And you can see that one booted up nice. Escape. Yes. Okay. So let's restart this one and let's see what happens here. It sent a thing, but it didn't detect it. Okay. So I must have been like, I must have had a dream. I must have been like floating around in the dream world to think that I had one that auto-detected. Whatever. This one also with the hard drive utility, you'll get the format, the auto interleave, and the media analysis. Okay. Do not worry. Hello, Carthor. If folks wouldn't mind hitting the like button, that would be swell while you're here. I would really appreciate that. We got to see an explosion today. Well, you kind of sort of missed the explosion. You saw the aftermath. Alright, let's park you because we're going to shut you off for now. Let's go back to here. We'll shut this one off. Let's plug in some other drives and see if these actually work. These have been sitting for a while. This drive I had tested, so I knew this one was good. Okay, I'm gonna wait. Okay, hello, there we go. This drive, this is the actuator. You can see there's like this little relay thing. That's the thing that makes that pop at the beginning. We're gonna stick you in an ESD bag right away. You're a good little hard drive. You did good work. Thank you, Mr. Hard Drive. All right, let's skip this one because you might notice here that the number is scraped off. And this one actually has one fewer heads listed than you're supposed to have on this drive. So this is a Seagate ST251. This one, at one point, the head crashed. And I think I did this when I was a teenager. I just ripped the head off and made it a smaller number, and it worked fine. But I haven't tested that in a long time. Okay, so let's see, data cable. I forgot to check the jumper settings, but I think that first jumper, if we look on the back, nope, there's no designations. It should be jump for drive 1 in that setup. Okay, let's make sure everything's on the screen. Let's get that nasty cap out of the way. Okay, let's see what this guy does. 3, 2, 1. Oh, you have to plug in the power. You have to plug in the power for the drive to spin up. Jack 60K, not necessarily, but on these older ones, it kind of sort of worked. Kind of sure nothing short in there. Let's try that again. Alright, so our cylinders are 820. Oh, that sounds bad. 6, 5, sectors per track should be 17. It's trying. It's trying. It tried. It tried. It's working enough to get the computer to see that it's there. Let's do a reset on the computer real quick. Man, my workshop still smells like like tantalum. Let's reset the computer. Just let it go for a little longer. We can let it go for a little longer. Do we have to be anywhere else? Actually, probably some of you should be working. I don't know. One thing I do like to do sometimes that I didn't do today, I should have thought of this. I have a little space heater that I will stick a drive on and just let it sit on the space heater and like rotate it. And that one, it helps re-oil up some of the bearings or like soften the grease that's turned hard. But also like the differential expansion of the metals can sort of unpop a head sometimes. So yeah, that's something to try. Okay, I'm gonna hit reset on this. Okay. Hello, Asmodeus. Hello, Tech Ambrosia. Y'all missed some explosions. Just a little bit of explosions. think it made it a little further that time. One thing I haven't tried is doing a combo with the XT IDE. Sorry, that's a little reflection. Let's let this spin down for a second. Yeah, that's what I just did. I did a hardware reset. We can do another one, see if it gets any further. I love this BIOS flash screen. So this drive came out of a 286 that somebody had given me. That was an Animal House. This drive was in the midst of animal stuff, and I still have not finished repairing that motherboard. I really should do that at some point. It's trying. Alright, so let's try. Oh, that spun down way too fast. Let's give it just a little lube. It's not gonna do a whole lot, but we may as well do something. It's not gonna hurt anything. You can actually see the ball bearing there. It's almost like a skateboard wheel ball bearing size. Alright, let's see. I've never tried putting the XT IDE in with a MFM drive at the same time. So let's see what happens there. Let's see if that works. I don't know if that's going to work, but we can try. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's not the right power switch. This is the right power switch. 3, 2, 1. Alright, what's the... I mean, it works, so, and it's trying to boot off of that, so that must be a different base address. Let's see here. Gotta catch it. Alright, we're gonna try to boot off of the D drive here. I just hit D. We're going to boot off the XT IDE. Okay, so that worked really nicely. Alright, that's cool. That works. Nice. Hello, S-Camera. Welcome. Alright, so we're just going to... I don't have all my diagnostics set up here, but we should have scan disk. Oh, so... I don't know if you can see that, but it thinks it's the C drive. Do we have a D? Yes! Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, no, this is the old one. Okay, so this is... Alright, cool. Oh, no, C colon. Let's do scan disk. So the XT IDE put the original drive as the D drive. That's hanging up a little bit. It's hanging up a little bit. It saw it. It was able to dare the drive. So that's pretty cool. Let's restart. Let's try that again. Okay, so when we see this, we hit D and that'll make it boot off of the XT IDE. And then if we go to the D drive and hit, yeah, that's the other stuff that's on here. So it can see stuff. The drive's not happy. So, yeah, it's something. I do not have SS Tor or SpinRite here. Oh, I might have NUD. All right, let's try another one. Let's see if another one behaves a little better. Oh God, that noise sounds so bad. I won't bore you with NDD. Let's leave this one. Let's do another ST251. This one I think came out of a much cleaner computer, so I have a feeling that this one is much more likely to work. So the guy found that 286 in a barn, in his barn, and gave it to me. So it's very nice of him, but it was pretty gross on the inside. I think I did a stream about that at some point. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. That one sounds like brand new. I'm gonna let this one try to boot off the drive itself. Oh, it might not have an OS installed. Oh. Okay, so let's see. I forget what's on this drive. CD Norton. All right, I was not talking because I like that sound so much. All right, we can stop this. This thing, that drive looks good. All right, so why did it not want to boot? Let's see what's on that drive. It's theoretically command com, just command com. It sounds so good. Oh yeah, that's also possible. Hello, Starbuck Tech. Hello. Hello, John Little. I don't know if I said hi to you yet. Sorry if I missed anyone else. Charles Bullock. I have a compound saw in the garage that makes less noise than that hard drive. Yeah, this guy, this was the one out of the barn that the computer was totally destroyed by mice. Lots of damage on that motherboard that I still have not finished repairing, but I should do that at some point. If you all want me to finish repairing a 286 motherboard, make sure to let me know. I want to try this Priam drive or Priam. How do you say that word? Have a seat there. This is the quiet one, Bacchus. Hello. How do we say this word? Priam. I have a microphone right next to the drive to give us some of that beautiful hard drive ASMR sounds. Currently 50% formatted. Check it with fdisk to make sure that the partition is set to active. While we wait to finish this up, this is a power supply from a Macintosh 2SI. Massive damage that we went over last weekend. I'm waiting on caps for that, so I don't know if we'll finish that on Saturday on our Saturday stream. If we don't, we might start working on the Power Mac 9500 because that one's going to need a whole lot of work. So we'll see. If I get the parts I need for this, then we'll finish the Macintosh 2SI stuff that we started last week. If not, we'll work on the Power Mac 9500 on Saturday. So if you're new here, Saturday at noon is when I stream normally. This just happened to be a random, this was itching my brain, so let's do a stream about it kind of thing, which I do sometimes. Doesn't that purr like a kitten? Let's go to fdisk, change drive, we're going to go to 2, display partition information, yeah, that's active. Alright, let's shut this down. Oof. We're going to pull out the S camera. No, I do not do Twitch. So I'm going to pull this out and see if this drive will boot straight off of the computer. This has DOS 622 on it, which does not have the park command, I don't think. So I cannot. All right. What is the Avid's box behind me? David Starbuck asked what the Avid box behind me is. So this right here is part of an, It's not wanting to boot off of it. That's weird. Alright, I'll have to futz around with that. But it seems like the drive is good. So, yeah. Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so I'll make sure not to drop that or anything. But this is a happy drive. For some reason, it just doesn't want to boot DOS right now. Alright. So, no, that wasn't it. It tried to boot off of it, but it just wasn't seeing it for some reason. Probably something silly that I'm doing. That's the Terminator. I don't know. Okay, let's try this one. So the thing about this Bacchus is this board does not currently know that there's an IDE bus, right? There is no IDE bus on this because it would have been added with add-in cards. So the only cards it sees are the ones that are here. Okay, so this one, this is set as drive 1, so that's good. There's a terminating resistor in here. The other ones had a jumper, I think, for that, or resistors. But there's a little dust on that guy right there. It's still there. So let's try this one. Yeah, it's just something silly. I don't know what it is, but the physical condition on that drive is fine. It's just about not wanting to boot off of it. I'll figure it out. All right. So how do we say this? Priam? Pream? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Wow, that one's as quiet as an Edsel. $987. 5 heads. Right, pre-comp 6535. 987. Sector 17. Sectors per track. All right, that one came right up. Oh, this is IBM PC DOS version 3.2. Look at all the stuff on there. Can we get a DOS W? Yeah. Wow. Do we have a D drive on this one? No. What do we got? 7 megs free. So are we really using that many? It's possible. Everything seems to be in the root directory. Check this. That one sounds nice. Procom Plus. Press any key to enter terminal mode. Nah, I don't think so. Look at that. We could use this 486 as a terminal. How do we get out of here? Uh-oh. I did it wrong. How do we get out Out of Procom Plus. Oh, I forget. Oh, I forget. Anyone remember Alt X? Thank you. Nope. Oh, Alt Z. Blah, blah, blah. Wow, it's been a million years since I used Procom Plus. There we go. That's funny. That we're inside of a DOS shell inside of Procom Plus. That's fun. Yeah, all control delete is one way. Wild. That is cool. Control Q, no. Alt Q, no. And Alt F4. That is fun. Look at that. Alright, well, we're not going to break anything if we just hit the Alt Control Delete exit mode. Oh. I tried. Sorry. There you go. Cool. Alright, so one last thing to test here today. Let's shut this down. Oh, this one probably has a park command. Nope. Nope. This drive sounds nice. Alright. So let's see about this one from my childhood that I have not tried to power back up since my childhood. This one we can see, this should be 6 heads. We don't have 6 heads anymore in this drive. We have 5. Let's see if this works. I think I remember it working. Alright, let's see what you sound like. Sounds good. $20, 5 heads. 20, second check. 2. Okay, so I didn't want to boot, but that doesn't mean anything. There might not be anything installed. It didn't give us errors. So, hey, David Starbuck. Yes, they, modern computers are much quieter. Listen to that. Alright, let's try to boot with that again. 3, 2, 1. Hello, Remix Cat. Welcome. I have a Hitachi Ultra Star that sounds like Chewbacca taking a dump. Yes, that's a pretty good simile. That's right. I get my similes and metaphors confused. Simile is what we're going for. Oh, shoot. I forgot to hit the B. No. Okay, good. Booting off the XT IDE. And let's go to D. Oh, it's invalid drive specification. Let's go to F disk. Unable to access drive 2. Uh-oh. Maybe it's not happy. Like, where's my first head, please? Yeah, maybe I was wrong about it working. Maybe I've held on to the thing for that long. But the nice thing about it is that we have a good mechanical drive. We could try Norton Disk Doctor on it. That's a good idea. This one sounds good. No, I'm not going to give it a bang. It's doing what it needs to do. But this one sounds way better than this one. So theoretically, we could take the platters and the heads out of this one and put it in there. So that might be a fun project someday. Go Seagate, you can do it. No, it's not happy. Let's restart it. Let's see what Norton Disk Doctor says about the drive. Oh. 2 copies. We got a fat sector error. Oh, they could not be repaired. Oh, actually, we'd only have to change the heads on this one, because, well, there might be a spot from where the head crash was, I forget. Alright, well, it saw the drive at least. It tried doing a thing. Oh, look. It kind of saw it that time. Yeah. Alright, we got some issues. But that's cool. It's sooked. Seeked? What's the past tense of seek? Seeked? Well, it's halfway there. Okay, is that it for today? Did we do enough stuff? That was fun. I love these hard drive sounds. Thank you, John Little. I always need a grammar helper. Grammar helper. Sought. Have sought? Whatever. We don't need to talk about grammar. The one thing I forgot to do is tell you all thank you for my my patrons, the people that give me money. So my Janka crew, Matt Hargett, Gut Bomb, Garth Beagle, Brian Garefort, David Starbuck, Ian Scott, Jamie's Hack Shack, All Things DG, Chris Angelos, Tech Ambrosia, Scout, Jack68K. You are amazing. You keep me soaked in Janka. Did anyone notice my modification on the Maxwell House thing there? My jank team, Hardware Hacker, Mark Kruger, III DIY, Charles Bullock, Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, and Mark from Millennium Max. Thank you all so much. That is incredible. Thank you. I can't believe people give me money to do this, but I really appreciate it. So if you like seeing janky stuff like this, you know, make sure to get subscribed. Tune in on Saturdays at noon is when we normally stream. I want to thank you. Oh, hey, Callan. I didn't see you there. Hello, welcome. Normally we stream on Saturdays at noon. Sometimes we blow stuff up. Yeah, like that. So yeah, thanks for tuning in on a weird time. I really appreciate all of you that hang out and watch this stuff. And as we always say here at the Big Head Bench, if you're a Trumper, go F yourself. Bye, y'all. See you Saturday.